CAA fans, do you want to feel the excitement of March Madness like never before? CAAtickets.com is the source for your premium seating options for the 2014 CAA Men's Basketball Championship. The road starts here.
Joined by Hofstra head coach Joe Mihalik. To his left, Dion Nesmith. To his right is Zeke Upshaw. We'll start with the opening statement from Coach Mihalik on the game and then open up for some questions. If you'll raise your hand, we'll bring the mics around.
Well, the first thing you got to do is give Delaware credit. I mean, they had to, I'd like to think we pushed them and challenged them, and they had to respond, and they did. I think they did. I mean, particularly Devon Usher, who's, all year long, they had those guys have their issues, but he was there the whole time and continued to make plays and made his team win. So, you got to give them a lot of credit because, again, I don't want this to sound self-serving, but I'd like to think we really pushed them and forced them to play their best to win the game. So, and obviously it's. It's hard to say goodbye to your guys. So,
questions for Coach or the players? Raise your hand. We're good, right?
Zeke, obviously this is going to be disappointing for you, but in the bigger scheme of things, you look back at your accomplishments in this year in a positive light, and you're proud of them?
Yeah, very, very, very proud of them. Proud of my teammates and two of my coaches. And I can't wait to watch the guys next year.
Coach, they were able to force 11 turnovers in the second half. Coach Ross talked about how they started picking up press and then the team wanted to go man. And what did you see there in the second half that enabled them to get so many turnovers?
Yeah, it's something that you try to avoid, and it's a lot easier to talk about in the locker room than when you're on that floor, because they can get after you, and it's not just a turnover; it's that live ball turnover because it turns into 2 points for them. They're at their best when they can turn you over. So and they're one of those teams where one of their best offenses is, and they got a lot of good offenses because they can score, but one of them is when you have the ball, and if you don't take care of it and turn it over, they're gonna find a way to score. They're great in the open floor, and it's not one guy. They got 3 guys that are great in the open floor. And then the other guy, you got to be standing on his shoe tops because if you get off of him a little bit, 13 will shoot it in. So.
Yeah.
Zeke, in the second half, like he just said, they were talking about Delaware, talking about how much they really wanted to make you guys earn every shot, every point. How much different did you notice in the second half? Their defense, how much tougher was it?
I felt like they tried to take the ball out of me and Deion's hand a little bit more in the second half. So they turned up the denying on me and Deion, so that was kind of tough for us.
Coach, we've asked you this question in similar fashion, really all season long, but the two guys that you're sitting between, put in perspective for us, year one in your tenure at Hofstra, how important they were in the rebuild process and how important they were to you all season long.
People have said, what do you want from this year? And what I wanted from this year, when we're eventually cutting nets down and winning championships, is for people to look back at this team and say they were a big part of it. But when you do that, you talk about these two guys. Because, turning the program around is not an easy thing to do, and it starts with your players. And I know I speak for everyone at Hofstra when I say that when we get to that point, hopefully where we're climbing up a ladder and cutting down some nets, we can say, don't forget 2013 to 2014. We didn't have a lot to show for it in the win columns, but don't forget Zeke Upshaw and Dion Nesmith. And Deion's back, but don't forget Zeke Upshaw. Don't forget Steve Waconi. Because they played a big part in what turned out to be a lot of success, hopefully, at Hofstra. So, you never, it's why you coach.
Anything else for these guys?
Coach, pregame, Jamal's barely jumping. What did you think of his effort? You got 28 minutes out of him.
I mean, he's just, you talk about a winner. I mean, look up winner in the dictionary, you probably see a picture of Jamal Robinson. He shouldn't have played. He shouldn't have played. His coach shouldn't have let him play. He could barely walk. But he wasn't going to let me not let him play. I mean, he just did everything he could out there. I mean, he was in tears when he came off the floor in the front. Everybody said he was in tears when he came off the floor. It was hurting so bad. I mean, he had like a high ankle sprain, and but he also knew that his team needed him, and he was going to give everything he can. And there you go. That's who Jamal Robinson is. That's who he is. And you guys know what I say about him. You talk about being part of the solution. That guy's going to be a big part of the solution.
Dion, just to follow up on what Coach said about the future a moment ago, what did you learn from your first year in this league, and how is that going to help you become a leader for this team going forward into next year?
The biggest thing I learned from this league is there's not much difference from the number 1 team to the number 9 team. So I feel that we all got to be very competitive and take that to next year, because this year we lost a lot of close games to the top teams. Even like tonight, a few bounces could have been a win for us. So I feel like we just have to work on playing a full 40 minutes every game next year.
Anything else? Last question.
Zeke, just your thoughts about when you picked up the 4th foul and you're sitting on the bench, and how much you want to get back in there. Just thoughts about it.
Yeah, it hurt because I wanted to be able to help my team, and I couldn't. I was on the bench, so that definitely hurt me. And then when I came back in, I tried to do as much as I could, but it wasn't much time left for me.
Okay, very good. Thanks, guys.